get her shit together because you have to sling some tent.
Hello, and welcome to the Werewolf by Night bonus show. I'm Matt Howell.
I'm Jacob Malcolm.
Thanks for joining us this week, Pack Brothers and Pack Sisters. We've got all kinds of great content for you, or as Jacob calls it, tent. Got that tent?
I heard a kid say it, so.
And as 40-somethings, we got to stay abreast.
Oh, we do. We have to stay really relevant, or we'll lose our audience.
So this week, we're going to be talking about a werewolf movie, and we're going to talk about some comics or comics-related books and a little bit of music. So all the goodness is coming. I hope you guys are liking this, by the way. Please let us know what you think on the Patreon page if you're digging it or if you want to hear something else from us. But otherwise, we're just going to keep talking about stuff that amuses us, like comics and movies and music.
Yeah, we'll mix it up a little bit. I mean, obviously, I think, this is our third bonus episode. I think our format that we've had so far has been, we talk about a werewolf movie, we talk about comics we're reading, we talk about records we've been listening to that week. We're going to mix it up too. I'm going to add a little something else in there this episode, but we'll try to mix it up. But that's basically going to be the format because those are the things that we are most obsessed with.
Yes.
Is movies, comics, and records. That's pretty much our lives. So we'll share that with you.
Do we want to commit to a werewolf movie every week?
I think we should do it until we really run out of shit. Okay, because I think there's at least a dozen more we can watch.
Oh yeah, no, there's plenty more. Yeah, cool. So this week I'm gonna let Jacob introduce this one because he picked it. So I just want to preface this by saying, if you recall last week, I shared with you an Italian film from the 70s that was a little, transgressive. Maybe it pushed some boundaries. It was a
little bit,
definitely sexually exploitative, a little bit violent, but I liked it. Jacob said it was enjoyable, but a little bit much. And so I said, why don't you pick something this time, champ? As I tucked him into bed that night because he had the he had the fears big time. So
I had the nightmares. So I chose Werewolf in a Girl's Dormitory, which I think the Italian title was Lycanthropus. Mm-hmm. Was that what it is? Yeah. So it was released in Italy in 1961. I think it made it over here in 1963. In the English dub, they also added a song that I absolutely need to get on 45 now. The movie opens with it. It's called The Ghoul in School.
To so many situations.
So many situations.
It could be mitzvah, Halloween party.
It was so awesome. So did you look it up on Discogs?
I did not. I
absolutely did. It's I mean, it says it. It almost says more about the song than who directed it and stuff. It was just so weird. It was just Werewolf in a Girl's Dormitory. This is the song, and it's by these people. And then the movie starts, and it plays a 10-second clip of the song, which just sounds right up our alley.
Yes.
I think Discogs, I think you can get it for a decent copy for $40. It wasn't cheap.
Yeah.
It was more than I would want to spend, but
10, 12, I would be I'm down, but
yeah, I think you can get a shitty copy for 10 or 12, but I would want one that would actually play. Hey, maybe if we get a ton more Patreon subscribers and we're just rolling in that fucking dough every month, we can just
sounds
start
like Fire
buying.
Festival at that point.
Yeah,
what do we do with that money?
We'll just start buying weird old werewolf records and records that are werewolf adjacent. So that's our promise to you.
I was going to say, Jacob, that we have so many wonderful supporters now that you and I, we try to make everything free as movies and stuff go, but we can't. We've had multiple requests now for Wolf of Snow Hollow. So I think now that we are actually have contributors and they've asked for it, we need to rent Wolf of Snow Hollow. So my recommendation would be that would be the next movie if I were choosing. I don't know if you're going to give me the baton back or not.
No, I think we should switch. And I would agree. I was going to suggest that anyways. We need to do Wolf of Snow Hollow next, which I'm really excited for. It's just, we didn't do it this week because I was just like, we like to keep it free so that everyone can just easily watch these things along with us. And I think I went to look and I was just, it wasn't like a $2.99 rental. It was like a $5.99 rental still. And I was just like, what the fuck? But we've had a lot of requests. I think it's time. I really want to see it. So we're gonna do it. We're not going to be cheapskates. We're going to do it.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it is or not, but I think it's like one of Robert Forster's last roles, and we love him for his work in Twin Peaks: Return and many other things.
Tons of other things.
Yeah.
So so we'll definitely do that this week, but next week. But this week we have Werewolf in a Girl's Dormitory. It was directed by Richard Benson. That is a alias for Paolo Husch. It stars Barbara Lass and Carl Schell. And I would say this is a lower budget movie from the era. I would think this is an era. I mean, I guess Italian horror films from this era, the best one that I know would be Black Sunday by Mario Bava.
Bava's really work. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And this is, I don't know. I almost thought like there are parts of this where I'm just like, oh, okay, I could kind of put this in the same, at least universe as Black Sunday, but that's one of my favorite horror movies of all time. And so I need to know more about this era of Italian filmmaking because I think I really liked it because I really liked this movie. Like I said, it opens up with this. The English version opens up with this really goofy song called the Gulen School. And basically it's about a disgraced doctor who gets a job at a girls' reform school. And for a large part of the movie, it seems to be more about a blackmail plot than werewolves in a lot of ways. But it starts out with a girl named Mary sneaks out to see this professor who she had an affair with and is blackmailing him by holding on to some love letters. And after meeting this man, she's killed by a werewolf. And I did kind of like this movie, how it kind of every male character was kind of a suspect at different points in this movie. And I honestly didn't know who the werewolf was at most points. I was just like, well, it could be anybody. I don't really know. Like, I don't know. It took me. I'm not a person that tries to guess the end of the movie before the end of the movie. Either. I hate doing that. But even if I wanted to, at like halfway point, I'd be like, I don't know. I mean, it could be 3 or 4 different people.
I'm very much a guy that's like go on the ride, buy the ticket, take the ride. My wife is very intuitive, so she's a person that saw Sixth Sense and Fight Club and walked out of both of them and said, "Why would I watch these jackasses?" I think she left Fight Club and said, "Why would I watch a guy talk to himself for 2 hours?"
Damn.
And I was like, "Really?" And, just same thing with Sixth Sense. Where he's like, "Oh yeah, like he's dead," and
it's just a dead guy.
Yeah. So I'm not like that at all. So, but I actually picked this guy out and I was right the whole time.
Really?
From the get-go.
See,
I didn't solely on hair and clothes.
Interesting. All right.
I cheated.
Okay. Well, maybe after watching, because as I said before, I mean, how many fucking werewolf movies have we watched at this point? 30?
I tried to make a list.
It's got to be 30 or 40 because we watch one almost every episode.
Yeah. It's pretty long.
We did 58 episodes last season. So, I mean, we at least watched 40 werewolf films. So I don't know. Maybe
like Paul Nashi movies, like 10 of them, right?
We watched 10 of them. So yeah, maybe that's all that is in your psyche now. The werewolf movies making you easy to guess who it was. But I really liked this. It was filmed at Cinecittà Studios, the studio that Fellini used, and everybody
that's not a neo-realist used.
Yeah, but I had to look up and be like, was Fellini? What was Fellini doing at this time? And he was in between La Dolce Vita and 8.5, and so
probably helping out.
Yeah, he was the second director and helping out in the second unit, and. Yeah, I mean, I liked this more than I thought I would. Going into it, you get the goofy song in the beginning, and so much of the plot is about blackmail. It's taking place at a girls' reform school. I'm assuming that all the girls are supposed to be under 18.
They're supposed to be like 15 and 16.
They all are obviously like 30 to 35 years old.
Very much so.
And which is great. Like I don't know if I want realism in this,
like
at this
the
point.
blackmail thing with Mr. White Man.
Yeah.
That's what I called him.
Yes.
Mr. Whiteman. Yeah, he again, in old days, everybody looked older than they were. So like when you were like 40, you looked 65 by today's standards. So he had a mustache. He was balding. He just looked like a academic schlub. Yep. But him dating someone supposedly a student of 16 made me kind of ill.
Yes. No, it's best not to think about that too hard. Okay. Yeah. So no, I was glad that all the actresses were obviously closer to 30. Like that none of them looked super young at all, which was great. I have no complaints about that. That made the watching experience much more enjoyable.
Yeah, this was as far as Italian cinema, this was kind of like transitioning between like what is the genre of like crime? It's like crimini, Krimini. Mm-hmm. Like it's pre-giallo. But it's kind of that transitional thing where if this wasn't a monster, this would have been a giallo.
I think so. I mean, I don't know. It reminded me more of early Bava than anything else. But I guess you're right. I'm not a fan of giallo. I know it's a hot take.
I'm not either.
I know. I think both of us have talked about that we're not giallo fans, and I know that's sacrilege to most horror fans, but I fucking hate it.
Yeah, I like Kill Baby Kill and a couple early of the Bava things, but I'm not a huge fan of the genre either. But like this is like if this weren't a monster and it was just a black gloved killer dispatching girls in a school, that would be a giallo by
you're right.
The broad definition was my point. But that ain't it. This is there's a werewolf. There's a werewolf,
and there's and the transformation scenes are okay for the time period. Like they're pretty decent dissolves, and I think there's 3 good transformations in the entire thing. And no, I really liked it. And like I say, if anybody out there has more recommendations of this era of Italian cinema, horror films from like late 50s, early 60s, that seems to be my sweet spot. And I don't know as much about it. All that stuff I know is more, I don't know, highbrow Fellini shit because I'm an asshole. But
you've seen Kill Baby Kill, right?
No, I haven't.
So that's like early Bava, like one of his first color ones, and the title is very Americanized. I don't know what the actual Italian title is, but very, very effective. I think you would love it.
Cool. Okay,
like
well,
64,
I'll check that one out.
65 maybe. I love that one. That's free, easily found online. I don't know. This one to me, I never tapped out and I never like zoned out, but like I felt like the transfer was soft, which is not the film's fault. It's readily available. It's virtually public domain. It's like kind of gray area. So you can find it anywhere. You can see, if you want to watch riff tracks, make fun of it, you can watch, comedians make jokes about it. It just felt kind of soft and just kind of that, the pacing was just kind of like, it wanted me to fall asleep, and I wasn't like, I was not in that place. I'm like, it's only an hour and 20 minutes. I can do this. I didn't love it. I did hate it. The actors were clearly, like you were saying, some of them were Germans speaking English. Again, and we talked about this before, shared language, dubbing it. I had just kind of a neutral response to it. I enjoyed it. I'd recommend it like in a movie for a rained out ball game kind of way. Like if you're bored, or you're hungover on the couch and you're just eating a double cheeseburger you had brought by DoorDash, and you're on the couch and the dog's licking your toes and you're debating whether or not to shower and do something with your day or not, it's a perfect movie.
That is a perfect description. Yes. If you have nothing better to do and want to see a kind of slow, low budget, black and white werewolf film, then this is the film for you.
I will say that my wife, who is always game for a psychotronic movie, then instantly falls asleep after the big opening, she actually ended like wandered in halfway through and like watched almost all of it before falling asleep.
Really?
That's saying something for Renee.
That is saying something. So that's got to be a good review right there.
Yeah. So she actually watched most of it, which is a shock.
Okay. I like that.
So I get a half claw, a sideways claw, horizontal claw. I enjoyed it. I would say watch it if this is your bag. If you don't like old movies or slow movies, I don't think this is going to work for you.
No, I enjoyed it. Yeah, I'm with you. I'm in a neutral position, but leaning towards recommending it.
Yeah,
I don't regret that I watched it at all.
No, and this is one I think I mentioned to you when you picked it, that I had seen bits and pieces of on like Wolfman Mac and Svengoolie and like just different like horror host shows throughout the years, just like turning on TV Saturday night at 11:30 and like, oh, what's this? Oh, it's this Italian werewolf movie, and like watch 2 segments worth and a couple commercials and then change on the channel. So yeah, it was cool to see the whole thing for once. So yeah, I enjoyed it. If you like old creaky Italian black and white horror movies, you're gonna like it. It's pretty well done.
Agreed. So yeah, next week we're going to watch Wolf of Snow Hollow, and I'm very excited for that.
Yes. You know what I think would be fun before we move on?
Okay.
What if instead of us talking about something we watched, we incorporated into this, like, remember when I told you about that Scooby-Doo ripoff called Fang Face?
Yeah, you posted stuff about that. Yeah.
What if we watched Fang Face with like kind of commentary live, like that was part of the show, and then we could talk about a couple of things afterwards or whatever, and that would be the bonus show.
That sounds great. I'd love to do that.
So last night I watched the Teen Wolf, the series, the pilot. Oh,
yeah.
Because I was like, well, maybe we could do some TV shows. That's what the Fang Face thing came from. It was okay, teen MTV. It was okay. I watched the first episode. I was like, I'll watch a couple more, but I would not bring this to Jacob, bend my knee and offer it to you, sir. Yeah. Would you like to watch this with me?
Partake of the Teen Wolf? Yeah, I know.
Yeah. I know. But I'm probably going to watch 6 seasons. That's a bit much.
Oh, God, really?
Yeah.
That is
2011 to 2017.
Holy shit.
Yeah. I think I'll do season 1, see where it goes.
Okay, cool.
And the guy that plays Superman now played like the villainous wolf who turns the main character, Scott.
Okay.
I didn't know that. The guy that Superman needs to shave now. You've seen him, right?
Oh, yeah. Is that the Lois and Clark thing? I haven't watched it yet. Have you?
I haven't either. No, I've heard good things. Jerry Conway liked it. He just said, I wish he would shave.
That's funny. So Lois is that Bitsy Tulloch, or what is her name? I can't remember the actress's name that plays Lois, but she was in Grimm, right?
Oh, I never watched Grimm.
Yeah.
But is he the Superman that was in Supergirl?
I don't know. See, okay. I dropped out of those shows so early on, the Arrowverse.
Yeah. I watched the first season and a half of Supergirl. I thought it was really good. I just kind of wandered away. I didn't quit. Anyway. Yeah. Let's go back to Marvel.
Okay. You want to go first? Okay. So my recommendation comic-wise this week is actually a nonfiction book. It's All the Marvels by Douglas Wolk. It came out at the end of last year. It's one man's story of reading every Marvel comic published from 1961 to 2017. So he started with FF1 and ended, I think, with Marvel Legacy 1.
So what's the format like? Like, is this something where you could just open a page and read us a snippet and we would get a sense of it, or no?
A little bit, yeah. So it's not an encyclopedia. It's not an exhaustive, like, it doesn't list every single one. It kind of jumps around. It's his journey. I don't know. Did you ever read, have you read any of Grail Marcus's books? Did you ever read, what was the one he wrote? Like a Mystery Train, or the one that he wrote about Dylan's basement tapes. Like,
I've read pieces from them. I've never read a whole Grail Marcus book. I think I've read them in like Rolling Stone or something.
Yeah, he's a music journalist, author, and the way that he writes, he'll write about things. He'll write about grand things, but kind of I'd hate to call it a holistic view, but it's more of just kind of more of a philosophical overview in a way. And so yeah, Douglas Wolk talks about, he kind of takes the entire story and breaks it down into different chapters, but he jumps around a lot. We'll talk about, I think the first issue he talks about is FF51, and but goes on. There's little interludes in the book that talk about like all the presidents that were featured in Marvel. Has like a list of that. And I like that he starts out in the chapter "Where to Start" or "How to Enjoy Being Confused" is the first chapter, and I like that in the end, right in the beginning, actually, he's just like, okay, if you're asking me what do you need to read, he's like, don't do what I did, don't read all 27,000 issues don't read them chronologically, don't do it like I did it, so you don't have to. And he goes through this big line of just like what you should do, what you shouldn't do. But then in the end, he just basically is like, hey, if you're looking for a jumping on point to this story, and he treats it as a continuous story from 61 to 2017, it treats it as one of the longest continuous stories in human history. And he's just like, you know what? If you have friends that read comics, ask them what to read and just do that. He's just like, he's kind of just, you need a human, almost saying that you need a human starting point. You need someone not to gatekeep for you, but someone to just be like, oh, you know what a Marvel comic I love is this. And then you're like, oh, okay, I should just read that, which is, I think, where all of us get our best info and read some of the best comics, is that we have friends. You and I have done this for years.
Yeah.
You know, it's just, you have a friend, one of your better friends, one of your best friends who is into comics, who knows you well, and is just like, you know what you would like? You would really like this. And I really recommend it, though. I mean, he's a great author. He wrote a book called Reading Comics that was, I don't know, it's almost like a spiritual kind of philosophical companion to Understanding Comics by Scott McCloud. Mm-hmm. And which I've also reread recently, and it's astonishing, you know. But Reading Comics is really cool. It's kind of
out of favor now, by the way.
Which one?
Scott
Understanding?
McCloud's, yes.
Really?
It's considered an anti-text now by
interesting.
The cognoscenti.
By people that we like, or
kind of the 30-something dudes who make comics nowadays are like, that's like that's Mein Kampf of comics.
Wow. All right. I mean, I reread it. I read it a long time ago. I just recently reread or am still rereading it. I think it has really good points. I think it's pretty
every 5 to 10 years.
I think it's great. Like, I don't understand why anyone would say that. It's a historic. I mean, it's a overview of the medium. Like, Alan Moore loves it. Who the fuck doesn't love Understanding Comics? That's fucking stupid. That's fucking stupid. But
no, I'm with you, man. I timidly tweeted back from our account, like, so we don't talk about this anymore? This is a verboten text? Like,
do they have problems with Scott McCloud or with the book?
I think most of the book just kind of saying that who is this guy to come in here and just presume to talk about the limits and the boundaries and the mechanics of the medium and blah, blah, blah. And I timidly just said, I still respect it. I read it every once in a while. And when friends get into the medium, I usually loan this to them along with like a stack of gateway drugs. Like, to me, it's a gateway drug. Like, this is a magic medium. This is ink on paper that can transport you through time. It can make you feel things. It can it does, and it's free. Like, virtually. I mean, you could get a piece of paper and draw something and give it to me, and we could not speak the same language, and I would understand what happened and be moved. Like, that to me is power.
I know.
So I know. If someone, I don't know. I thought that was very contrarian. That's like when people say the Beatles are overrated, and I'm like, okay, and I get it. Come to me in 10 years when you fucking grown up and got some curly hairs on your fucking sack. I know it's cool to reject your,
I know. No, you're right.
Teeth on the bones of my father, that whole Freudian weird fucking thing.
Yeah, no, you're right. But I liked his first book, Reading Comics. I love this book. I would definitely recommend reading it. I don't think he's from here. I don't think he's from Portland, but he was when this book came out, he showed up at Books with Pictures, and there was this like ticketed kind of entry thing because of COVID, they weren't really allowing a ton of people in. I tried to get tickets, but there weren't any. But yeah, so that's what I recommend. I recommend it. It's a great read.
Okay, I'm gonna get it because you said that. So my birthday is in October.
All right then.
Cool. So just real quickly, I think people that listen to the show regularly know that I love the Clone Saga of Spider-Man, and we've talked about surnames. J.M. DeMatteis.
DeMatteis.
Yes,
that's right. Nicely done.
Is writing a Spider-Man comic again. This is the man who wrote the Craven saga of that Mike Zeck drew. That is a lot of people's most favorite Marvel comic ever, which is one of mine.
Yep,
Fearful Symmetry, also known as Craven's Last Hunt.
Craven's Last Hunt.
So yeah, I can't believe that he's back writing Ben Reilly, which is the if you don't know, briefly, is the clone that the Jackal made of Spider-Man. They fought. Spider-Man bested the clone, threw him into a smokestack, and went on with his life. And then someone 20 years down the road said, what if that clone lived? And what if he woke up, thought he was Peter Parker, went home and saw Peter and Aunt May having dinner and said, oh shit, I'm a clone, and left town and went and had a whole adventure and blah, blah. And then he came back and he was a Scarlet Spider for a while when Aunt May was dying. And then he was manipulated by the Green Goblin and the Jackal into thinking that he was actually Peter Parker. And Peter and MJ moved to Portland, Oregon to have a baby. And he became the Spider-Man for a while. And then he died at the hands of the Green Goblin, who was resurrected. And a character I've deeply loved. If my daughter had been a boy, her name would have been Benjamin Reilly Howell. I fucking love this guy. And so last week, Ben Reilly: Spider-Man started issue 1, and it's an ongoing series, and it jumps pretty much right back to kind of where he was when he came back when Pete and MJ left for Portland. And in this issue, he's taking on Carrion, another character that I love from that 70s era. So I forgot who did the art. I'm still actually not done with the issue yet, but I was just so excited to see that. I was just tickled, and I've been waiting for it for like 3 or 4 months since it was announced. And to go to the comic shop and see my pull list of my normal horror comics and stuff, Ben Reilly as Spider-Man with that. I love the Ben Reilly Spider-Man suit, by the way. The web shooters on the outside and the
it's a
extended
cool
spider legs. I fucking love it. And the fingers, half the fingers are webbed and half the fingers are dark blue or black. Anyway, so stoked it's here. And so far, I'm almost done with it, but it's great. If you love Spider-Man stuff at all, and kind of like that, I mean, the whole point of doing that in the 90s was de-aging Spider-Man, because he was married and they like kind of regretted that decision and jumped back and did this whole weird clone thing, and it became a mess. It was supposed to be a very short thing to switch out him for a de-aged version of him, and it didn't work. And yeah, but check it out. It's worth checking out. I love it.
Cool.
But I've been reading something indie too, because I have tons of street cred.
Yeah, obviously.
So I mentioned before, I've been reading a lot of stuff on my shelves that I bought a long time ago and never touched. And one of them is Cursed Pirate Girl by Jeremy Bastian, or Bastian. I don't know how you say his name, but love this stuff. It's got these cool cut edges. So everything's like all ruffled.
Oh, that's cool.
And he does everything super meticulously. I'm putting a bunch of stuff up here in the video feed, but like his pencils are just like insanely detailed. And it's kind of this plot wise, it's very much in the spirit of like Pippi Longstockings. She's this girl in Jamaica in like the 1700s. She is an orphan. She believes her dad was this pirate who sails the Omerta seas, and it's kind of this like mythical seas around Jamaica. And she gets caught up in this like by a kind of a mystical parrot that can speak. And so you get this whole kind of journey going on where she goes down to the ocean floor, realizes she can breathe underwater, challenges this ferryman that's like a skeleton. There's a strange battle. It's very kind of like Jungian. And she goes through this doorway through a fish's mouth into another reality where she's in the Omerta seas, and she's trying to find her dad. And he's one of like 5 pirates in these mythical seas. So I'm not quite done with this first volume here, but she's just meeting each of these pirate lords essentially, and like finding out which one is her dad. And it was published around 2011 by Archaea. Again, I don't know how to say it, but he just last week, something new came out, which I was totally shocked by. I went into Floating World Comics to get Ben Reilly Spider-Man and all my other stuff, and I looked on the shelves like, oh my God, Cursed Pirate Girl. Like, this has not come out in literally 10 years. So I bought that as well. So I haven't read that one yet, the new edition. It's called Devil's Grotto or something like that.
Cool.
But I highly recommend it. Love it. If you like super fine line work, it's very detailed. Like, if there's a grotto, he'll draw. I mean, he must be a madman. Like, he'll draw like weird cackling skulls and glowering faces in the rock walls and just, stuff like that. So, yeah, I think everyone will like Cursed Pirate Girl if you grew up on like Pippi Longstockings and just kind of like that Alice in Wonderland meets pirates kind of thing.
Nice. Oh, it sounds rad.
That's it for comics.
Was that our timer?
Yeah. Let's do your thing. We'll do my thing another time.
The record?
Yeah.
Okay, I have a record, and then I have the secret thing I haven't shown you yet.
Right. Yeah.
So I'll do the quick one. So what I've been listening to the most lately is it's a 2018 issue of Harry Nilsson's demos for the songs he wrote for the Popeye movie.
Hard to beat.
Well, I'm Popeye the Sailor Man. I'm Popeye the Sailor Man. I'm strong till the finish, 'cause I eat my spinach. I'm Popeye the Sailor Man. I'm one tough
hard to beat. So my wife and I are big Popeye fans, pretty much everything. And we have the hardcover versions of the EC Seeger strips, the Thimble Theater, all of that. We love the black and white Fleischer cartoons. Not so much the color ones as much. I think the AAP, I don't know what the API, I think it is, that came later. But we like love the Fleischer ones, and fucking love the Altman Popeye that came out in 1980. Filmed in Malta, I think it was. And I guess you can still go there. They built this crazy city, that's Sweet Haven.
It still exists?
I think it still exists, even though it looked as ramshackle as could possibly be.
Love us, we the people, oh sweet haven, hooray, hooray, sweet haven, flag all waving, boat people from the sea.
But yeah, so Matt, you and I are huge Harry Nilsson fans, which I think people know by now. We've mentioned him a lot. I wear a Nilsson shirt in my unboxing video. I'm a huge fan. And these are just his demos that him and another guy that we're big fans of, Van Dyke Parks, also, co-wrote a lot of these songs and arranged them. He's the piano player in the bar in the actual movie. And we love Popeye. I love the Popeye movie. I think that as far as like a comic strip adaptation, and even an adaptation kind of what the Fleischer black and white cartoons are, I think it's the best. I think it captures that kind of weird, chaotic energy that Popeye is. I think it's one of the better comic strip or book adaptations, really. I think it's like a comic strip come to life.
And you couldn't pick a better Popeye than Robin Williams on cocaine.
Yeah, I mean, Robin Williams on so much cocaine, and on it, but honestly, I mean, Shelley Duvall as Olive Oyl. There's no one who could ever have played Olive Oyl better than Shelley Duvall. So, and the Nilsson demos are super great. There's a documentary about Nilsson called "Who is Harry Nilsson and Why is Everybody Talking About Him?" It's been around for a while. I think it was made in like 2012. It just came back on Amazon Prime. So
good.
If you have Prime, please watch it. It's a glorious documentary
when
about
that
all
came
things
out,
Harry.
Yeah, when that came out and it went like around festivals,
Mm-hmm.
and I was just dying to see it. And then it finally came to the Clinton Street Theater one night, and I went there by myself and watched it and wept in the dark. It's so beautiful. I was so excited. And then it was available commercially, through Amazon. I bought it, and I've seen it dozens of times. It's so good. And it's one of those documentaries where if you know nothing about Harry Nilsson other than he wrote one, or
Lime in the Coconut.
Yeah. I mean, like, if you know nothing about him, like, I grew up mostly knowing like he hung out with Lennon, and he and Ringo loved each other, and he and George. Like, that was about all I knew about him.
Yep.
For the most part, other than a couple of songs. And there was a blog called For the Love of Harry that was kind of like his family was cool with for a while, and it basically had everything, like demos, official rips of things. These demos you're talking about, that's where I got them from. I downloaded so much stuff from there and just became obsessed with him in the late 2000s. And so anyway, sorry, just want to interject with my journey.
No, absolutely. I mean, yeah, Harry Nilsson's is a genius, and so yeah, that's what I've been listening to a lot this week, and have gone back to and love. So if you are a fan of Harry, or if you're a fan of Popeye, seek out these demos. They're on Spotify and other streaming services as like bonus tracks to the extended soundtrack of Popeye. So these demos are pretty easy to find. You can find the vinyl that was a Record Store Day only issue from 2018. You can find it online for like $35. I think it was 25 brand new. So it's not that much. And if you're a vinyl junkie, if you love records, I definitely recommend getting it on vinyl.
There's going to be one fewer by the time you hear this, though, because I'm going to snatch one up. Did they ever, For the Love of Harry, put out a nice comp of like, what was that? It was Harry's demos of stuff he offered to the Monkees.
Because there's like Cuddly Toy that the Monkees ended up cutting.
Did they ever press anything like that for Record Store Day or anything special like that?
Yeah, I mean, there's a Nilsson Rarities thing that came out that had some of those demos.
But it's not specific, like the Monkees demos, like.
No, it's not. It's not specific. And on Spotify, there's like 2 or 3 massive collections of different eras of Nilsson, and all that stuff is on there. All the Italian versions of his songs that he sang, and all that stuff. It's all on Spotify. So I mean, you can wade through a lot of that shit, and I recommend doing so because it's all gold.
I think those on For the Love of Harry blog, which I think got. Once they started reissuing everything, they pulled down all that stuff. But I think I downloaded every demo and just put them all in these huge, like you're saying, massive comps called like Harry Schmerry 1, Harry Schmerry 2, and Harry Schmerry 3, which are like 60 songs each.
Yeah, I think from that era, I downloaded, they had 3 comps that were called For the Love of Harry, like volumes 1, 2, and 3. And I have MP3s of those that I downloaded from way back, probably from that site. So that's my record recommendation. I know we're running out of time, but I wanted to show Bat something that I haven't showed him yet that I got. My mom sent me a box of some of my dad's things, some of his what she called his treasures, just weird things that he held on to forever. It's a lot of people that listen to this know my dad died at the end of the pandemic, not from COVID, but from brain tumor. And so this was really cool. So she sent me a box of his stuff. This is something I remember from being a very little kid. And my dad would open up this weird, this weird little wooden box and would show this to me. And I'll have to send you a picture so you can put it up just in case we can't see this here. But it says, I don't know if it's going to show on there. It says Siberian
wolf scent.
Siberian wolf scent. So he would show this to me and tell me the story that he got this from. There's this kind of mythical guy and that side of the family who was a friend of my grandpa, my dad's dad, Walt Sr. And he was a man that lived way out in the wilderness, and they would go out hunting there and stay at his cabin. And to stay at his cabin, you had to bring him propane and sugar for his still. You had to either bring him a ton of sugar or a ton of propane,
so he can make liquor.
So he could make his liquor. And my grandpa and him would just get super drunk and just shoot deer from the porch like terrible people. But my dad loved going out there and loved this guy, and that wolf scent came from him. So I guess this would be used in hunting or to scare shit off. I really don't know. Like, what do you use? Like, it would be like the smell of their pee or something, right? To either like scare something or attract something. I really don't fucking know.
Typically, I mean, I'm not a big hunting guy, but like a lot of times they have urine from animals in estrus to draw males.
Yeah.
For hunting purposes, which always seems sneaky and shitty to me. But I think sometimes you can use it to cover up your scent. So if you smell strongly enough of urine of a species, they will not know that you're a human, so that you can get closer to them to hunt them. But why would
you would use something like this, like maybe to smell like an apex predator, I guess? Or I don't know. I don't know if you would... To scare off, I honestly don't know. So I want to throw it out there. If anyone knows what the fuck something like this would be used for,
please tell us.
It looks 100 years old. My dad loved showing it. He would never really tell me what it was for. He would just be like, I got this from that crazy guy that had the still out in the crazy woods. So
that was in Jack London's colon.
Yeah. Yes. That's where it was. But wow. I guess this hunting cabin was in the middle of nowhere, backcountry of Minnesota, where my dad grew up. So I got that today, and I thought it was funny. We're recording today, and I'm like, Siberian wolf scent. Yeah. And I thought that was good, and I wanted to share it.
It's kismet.
Yeah,
you have to share that.
I did.
Yes, we are definitely at time. I will. That was way better than what I was going to share, which was just some random music. We're going to do a comic book that we like.
Oh, man.
We can do that another time.
Do it next time.
Yeah. We'll do it next time.
Okay.
Cool. So next time we'll be talking about Wolf of Snow Hollow, which you can watch on Prime or any of your other digital rental places. I feel like let us know if you have anything in particular you want to see for like our special Pack Brother and Pack Sister videos. I think my next one is going to be showing my shelves and talking through some of the stuff that I have on my shelves. That should motivate me to actually get it organized, because it is not organized right now.
Yeah, when you said that, and you're going to do it, and then I'm going to do it after you do, and so I already went through and started kind of organizing a little bit. Few things I'm like, oh, I'm embarrassed of that. I'm going to pull that up. I'm going to replace it with something cool.
Talk about something you're embarrassed about.
Yeah, no. There's only a few things. So no, I have them all looking nice, and I mean, we're going to be moving soon, which I'm sure will be a ongoing feature of the bonus episode. Different levels of move that I'm doing, and so. Yeah, I want to make sure and do footage of my shelves before I start packing all this shit away.
Yeah, you have to. So
yes.
There's a time issue here, and
so that should be our next bonus stuff.
Yeah, and I have stacks of stuff here that's supposed to be going off to get bound, and it's a mess in here. So this will motivate me to clean up and give you a tour of the office. So everybody, thank you so much for supporting the show and hanging out with us during the bonus episodes. It's so cool to hear, Jacob, about the Siberian wolf scent. I mean,
I know, right?
Who knew that was coming? I started my day off bitching about emails, and then I got this at the end of the day. So
yeah, that's a gift from me to you.
This is a gift. All right, everybody. Thanks for listening this week to the bonus show.